The topic of this event is white violence, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how have you encountered white violence as an advocate for the people that you serve, and kind of how do you use your resources and your funds to combat that white violence?
Mm-hmm. You know, DC is a unique place. You know, all places have their own story, and of course, I think one of the fundamental examples of white violence in DC is lack of statehood and lack of equal representation. I mean, the fact that that exists
Right.
it's undoubtedly due to racism, institutionalized racism and bias, and the you know, intentional decision to disenfranchise people here in the district, which was the first major American city to be majority black, and was home to abolitionist organizing, and you know, so many played a role in so many important social movements in our country. And so I think that has been very intentional. But I think that our work targets white violence most explicitly by trying to build power with Black and brown people, and trying to make sure that that Black and brown people are able to influence the decisions that impact their lives. Because I think that the white violence of making decisions for other people, you know, people that and excluding people from that process is that's a form of white violence, in our opinion, that we're trying to combat. And Daria mentioned, you know, erasure is violence. What we are seeing in the city, of course, through displacement and gentrification, is cultural erasure, it's community erasure. One of the things that we had to take on a few years back is the fighting the closure of public schools in the city. And, you know, schools are often the heart of community. And some of these schools, you know, may have been established over 100 years ago in Black communities and served multiple generations of families. The city closed 40 public schools within 10 years' time. And that's a huge amount of divestment and a huge amount of upheaval and dislocation. And they were doing it intentionally as a means of dislocating people from the hearts of their community, from the systems, the community structures that existed. We also deal a lot with public housing and trying to ensure that people are not displaced, even if, you know, housing needs to be improved, extensive renovations need to happen, etc. The way that the city has gone about it has been literally to wipe communities off the face of the district and rebuild them in someone else's image. And we find that to be extremely violent. So, you know, honoring the history of communities, working to fight displacement and ensure that the people in the communities are defining and envisioning their future. Yes, improvements need to be made, and the people who've lived in those communities are the ones who can best say what those improvements should be.
Right. Okay, wonderful. Again, folks, please check the donation link at the bottom in the comments section.